Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Gemstone Legends. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the new hero that has come out, Atum. She is a Forest Keeper faction hero and she's a ranger type hero. So I'm going to try and explain a little bit more of the different roles and different classes of the heroes moving forward so you can understand a little bit about their differences.
Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need, sipping on the potion, all that good emotion.
So being a ranger type attacker, what that means is she'll generally have slightly higher speed and also more mana gain. So that means she's able to fire her skills off more easily and with fewer gem matches and also be generally speedier than other heroes. It does not necessarily mean that her attack is going to be that high, but her health is going to be lower to compensate for the speediness and also the fact that she has more mana gain. And so you want to play around that a little bit, okay? And also, I do want to talk about her skills because I think this is going to really determine how you want to gear her. And then we're going to show her in action so you can see what she's like for yourself. So first, let's take a look at her skills and her special ability. There is a total of 5 levels, and also for passive ability, there is a total of 4 levels. So that means you need a total of 8 tomes if you wanted to maximize her skills. So her special ability, there's 3 parts to it, and the first part is decreased speed for 4 turns, and then also inflict color blindness for 4 turns. Given that these are negative stats, you know that you'll want to have some accuracy in order to land these. She also deals damage to a single enemy, and that is based on 30% of target's max HP. That means whoever she's dealing damage to, whoever she's targeting, the health of your enemy that you're targeting is what will count. This is actually not a true damage, and that means critical damage will apply here. And so you do want to make sure that you can increase the amount of damage you deal by making sure you have enough critical damage. Okay, and so again, this is not true damage. This actually will increase depending on how much CD you have on your hero. Her passive ability, this is an interesting one. So she has a 100% chance to inflict snare. So snare is a status that will actually start with a number of turns, and at the end of the turn, it deals 30 damage to the hero. In the beginning, the snare will take 2 turns to count down, and then after, when you, I think at level 3, starting level 3, you can inflict it for 1 turn. So it will actually be really useful because I don't think I've seen any other heroes that have snare that has such low turns. And what you can do is it will inflict it twice. Okay, so you get two snares. That's 30% damage of the health each time, and so that's basically 60%. And then there's another opportunity to inflict snare again, but this time for 2 turns if the enemy is already below 50%. And if you maximize it, then her mana gain is going to be increased by 1, giving you a total of 25 mana gain. So you can really easily, maximize her gauge. So then talking about her gears, so there are things that you have to pay attention to, right? So she needs some accuracy, and because she does land negative stats, right? So you need accuracy, but because she also deals damage from here, 30% of target's max HP, that's not a small amount. So you want to try and double it as much or more if you can. And so that is going to come from your critical rate and critical damage. All right, so make sure that you have your critical rate at least 85% or higher. And if you can get it to 100%, then that will almost guarantee you to have a guaranteed critical hit every single time, except when you are fighting against a blue hero. So you're still going to have a little bit of a penalty. Okay, 115 is where you're going to be guaranteed to hit critical hit no matter who you face. Critical damage I have at 113 right now, and that is because of my gear. So let's talk about the gear and understand what I've done here. So given that I know that she is the type that's going to land a lot of negative stats that's going to be very helpful, I chose to go with a hope set. And because I need accuracy, I decided to go with a cursed set to finish the set here. You could also choose to go with a speedy set, like, with a swift set, so you can make her even faster. So right now, my speed is 286. At one point, I had her at 340. I actually had her about 340 before, and then I had to drop her down because I had to arrange a little bit better to give her more critical damage. And so this is where balance really comes into play. I originally had her at 340 speed, but then my critical damage was at about 104, and my critical rate was only at about, I think, 35 or 40 because I originally wasn't paying attention to it. Now what I've done is I've actually gone ahead and changed it out. So I try to find where possible critical rate and also critical damage, and some accuracy if I can find it. Those were really the primary stats I was looking for. So you can see here everything I could find, whatever critical rate I could get my hands on, and I even needed to put in a critical rate glove. Okay, and you can see this one was a particularly bad roll, but I decided to go with it anyway because I just don't have anything better. And then for your armor, you'll want to put in an accuracy armor, and then the glove is, you generally want to go with the critical damage if you can, but if you don't have the critical rate, then you need to put this in to help yourself out a little bit. I did go with speed boots here because at the end of the day, I do want to have her be a little bit faster if possible. And then got a little bit of a health boost here and also some critical rate. And so this is a possible loadout. And like I said, you could potentially go with a swift set if you want. I went with hope because I want the opportunity to be able to fire her skills more often. And then, of course, make sure that you can put some cursed set on so that you can have more accuracy to land the negative stats. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Arena, and let's talk about how Atum's skill will actually work. And so to start out, what we're going to do is we're just going to get her skill ready to go, and then we're going to sort of decide who we want to actually activate this on. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and put it on Surges. I think that's his name, Gurgis. And now if you take a look at his debuff right there, Snare. So I need to correct what I said before. Snare actually deals 30% damage on the missing health as opposed to the max health. And so that means in the beginning, if the opponent basically has full health, then you're not really going to deal any damage. However, if you are able to get the health of the enemy down, then you'll be able to deal more damage. So the lower the health, the more damage you're going to be able to deal. All right, so now let's go ahead and decide who we need to take out, and that is definitely going to be Elgath. And so we are going to focus fire on Elgath at this point, and then we're going to take him down before my turn is over, and then we'll see how much damage we're able to deal to Gurgis at the end of his turn. And so again, like I said, we do want to try and deal more damage to him if possible. And let's go ahead and load up all of our mana. And we do want to try and eliminate, the yellow gems from our opponents because we don't want Sigil to activate. But we're not going to be able to prevent that necessarily. However, let's take a look, and you can see we're able to deal 13,000 damage on Gurgis. And if we're able to do this one more time, right? I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to deal more, but then you can see that we actually applied a second. We actually applied a second snare. That's actually 2 turns this time because the health is low. All right, so let's go ahead and we can change our focus now, and let's go ahead and start taking down Sigil. All right, and so I don't really need to finish the fight here, but I just wanted to show you how the skill works. And you can see we dealt 11,000 to Gurgis at the end of his turn, and it really is, because it's a 1-turn snare. It really what happens is as soon as the opponent's turn ends, then it's going to deal damage. And so now you can see that we were able to land 2 sets of snare, or I guess 4 snares on her. We're going to actually just kind of leave it there and see how much damage we can do there. And in fact, I'm not even going to use my dragon because I might actually end up killing Sigil this way. So let's go ahead and just kind of quickly go through and see. And again, the same idea. We want to try and target down their health as much as possible. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and let's see, 1, 2, 3. And we'll go ahead and hit Julong one more time with this so we can get a bit more here. And I think the ability here, I feel like there's a bug here. Did you see? So 100% chance to inflict snare for 1 turn while using her special ability 2 times. But the second time I activated, it only happened, I only managed to deal 1 time. And so I'm not sure if that is a bug or not, but caught it on camera. So let's go, let's keep going here. And let's see. So Sigil should die, and let's see if Julong does as well. So at the end of this, right, it does not get dispelled. Right, so you have to wait until the end of the turn, and they do both get taken out. So the weakness here, there is a sort of a downside to it, and that is, I guess it's not a downside. It's just the weakness here is that if your opponent is able to actually dispel. So at the beginning of the opponent's turn, if there is anyone on their team that can dispel, then it is possible for the snare status to be dispelled, and so you're not going to be able to deal any damage at that point. And the other thing too is I actually failed to notice this the first time I tried it, and that is again we'll just kind of pay attention to this, right? She inflicts snare. And so what happens is if you inflict snare on an opponent, but then the opponent has ability to heal up to 100% health, then effectively what happens is you're not going to deal any damage whatsoever. And so that is something to pay attention to. I fell into that because I didn't quite, I had forgotten what snare was like. And so if you ever encounter this situation, that is the reason why. So remember, in order for snare to be effective, you have to try and take down the health of your opponent as much as possible, ideally to 50% or lower. But if you can keep going, you're going to be able to whittle down the health of your opponent quite easily. And with her ability to deal 30% of the target max HP with her skill already, you should be able to get that without too much issues. So just kind of pay attention to the team, the makeup of the team that you're dealing with, so that you can pay attention to whether they're going to dispel, or if they're going to resist, or if they're going to heal themselves. Those are the situations which could give you a little bit of trouble if you're using Atum, but otherwise I think that she's a pretty good hero. And so I quite enjoy using her right now. I tried her in a few fights now, and I think that she has a lot of potential. So if you do go after her, if you do get her, this is what I would recommend that you try out. That's going to be it from me for today, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next episode. Bye now.